welcome back to another BentBox video here on our YouTube channel. My name's Chris.
My name's Jeff, and we were wearing matching t-shirts.
We are wearing the official True Believer t-shirt.
Chris surprised me with this in a previous video.
Yes, it did.
And thank you.
Fits pretty good.
Fits amazing.
I like it. It's nice and snug. But shout out to True Classic. I just bought a True Classic shirt and then had it printed.
Oh, okay.
At the mall.
Nice. It turned out great.
Yeah, I mean it works. It's expensive, but it makes for a nice shirt.
Yes.
And if I'm gonna wear it, I want it to be nice. Anyway, we're back with another cool video for you guys. Once again, constantly pumping out some content. Jeff has a question for me.
What will this question be? Chris does not know. We have not talked about it. Could be anything. What will it be? But we know it will be comics related. Let's go ahead and ask it now.
Yeah, I don't know. He just said he had a topic for me, and I was like, all right, let's do it. I don't want to know anything.
I'm interested to discuss with you, Chris, just what you see kind of moving forward in 2025.
Okay.
Just kind of a general, what do you see the comics industry as a whole doing well? What are you kind of seeing? And by comics industry, I also mean, it could be big two Image, but also with our scene, the indie scene, right, as well. What are you seeing that you want to see more of? Yeah. It's working. It's great. Let's keep doing that. And maybe where there's some rooms of improvement, right? We're not here to be negative, but maybe some ways we could all improve or encourage fellow creators to improve.
Instructive criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe some of that.
And you start with yourself first. You apply the criticism to you first, and then
I just pound into other people.
Angry tweets, right?
And it's fine. It erases everything.
Yes.
That's a good question, Jeff.
Let's start with the positive. What's working now in comics, indie comics that you're like, okay, this is good. I want to see more of this.
Okay, that was technically what you said was two separate questions.
No, my bad.
If you know what I mean. Well, you're like, what's working now? And I'm like, well, something. And then you're like, what's good? I'm like, that's different.
You choose.
Yeah, we're not getting into controversy though.
Yes.
Maybe. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of really unique books coming out. And one of the other things that John and myself have discussed lately is the level of quality in indie books has skyrocketed since as far as I can remember.
Yes.
Just like the idea of an indie book back in the day was and it's weird. Like I almost associate it with like the idea of like a punk rock band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very DIY.
Very DIY, just grunge in a garage, just hustling, maybe doing a dive bar here and there. Yeah. And that was indie. And now indie's more of that Blink-182 version of punk rock, which is like, I think they call themselves punk pop. It's, you know what you're going to get. It's high quality. It's fun. And it almost feels like a bit of a departure. And I wonder if there's anyone out there who doesn't like that. It's a curious, it's a thing that I think about sometimes. But with that advancement in quality, like some books I wouldn't know that they were indie. Some you come across and you're like, this is like, who published this? And it's like, just some Joe Schmo who had a really cool idea and an artist.
And it's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And so that's the thing that I love about indie comics, and I think that's doing very well, is that the quality is so insanely high right now.
Yeah.
I do, and the controversial part of this, which I'll touch.
It's not me. I'm not trying.
Oh, that's true. You're supposed to lead me into this. That way I get that way I'm off the hook. We already pre-discussed this. If we talked about anything controversial, Jeff
did not.
He would lead me into it, and then I would just have to respond. So I'm kind of off the hook. It's not my idea. Anyway, there are some aspects of the indie scene that are more or less low-hanging fruit, and everyone knows what I'm talking about. But it just is what it is. And the thing is, there's a market for it.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And keep doing it. You are doing a form of hustling. You're definitely putting in the work.
Sure, absolutely.
But I do think there should be a smidge of differentiation between the two sects of indie comics.
Agreed.
So that is my only quarrel with some of the indie comics right now is they're all indie comics and they should all have that moniker.
There's just an imbalance.
There's a bit of an imbalance.
Yeah.
That's true. And man, it's a weird thing. Like you almost, I feel the backlash coming just saying
Dude, I'll take the backlash.
But the thing is, a lot of
it's
it,
fine.
yeah, a lot of it's just common sense though. Like that's what I think bugs me with some creators, and this isn't like throwing shade at certain people, but there are some creators out there who will really pump themselves up about all the hard work they're doing. And the thing is, they are doing.
It takes so much work.
It takes so much
to
work
make your comic successful, and I applaud anybody who's putting in that work.
It's insane,
absolutely.
But then there is the AB up down left right. There's a cheat code.
Sure.
That is helpful. Definitely gives you a leg up, 2 legs up sometimes. If you catch my drift. So. That was
a little PG-13, Chris.
I'm sorry about that, everybody.
This is a family comics.
Shield your children's ears and eyes. PG-13.
Yeah.
But it just is what it is. It's just what's happening, and that's fine. And I'm literally just commentating on it. So, like when it comes to the indie scene, I do see the indie scene. The positives being that it's growing immensely.
Yes.
We're seeing bigger reader bases, huge followings happening, and once again, I'll it just as a commentary. It's also which I've mentioned before, your cult of personality has become a thing, which I'm not saying as a negative or positive per se, other than the concept of it's a positive that these people are bringing in readers. Bringing in new comic book readers, because sometimes these people, and I will like Eric July, huge audience, and then some people have obviously a feeling about him here or there, but the idea of just like these specific indie creators, and this also goes back to people I mentioned before, like Jacksepticeye, some of the YouTubers that have gotten into the space, they're bringing in readers,
sure,
and I like that. Because now there are more people interested in comics. And so that's great. That's great for the indie comic scene. I guess it can come with pros and cons.
Yes.
I guess. Whether those are worth mentioning or dealing with it all, I don't know yet. All I know is that I'm sure there are some. But... I'm all over the place, but yeah, I mean, basically the pros I'm seeing right now, or the positive side of comics right now, I'm definitely seeing a lot of, it's just growth in quality.
Yeah.
Is amazing right now. Really unique stories coming out. So it's just exciting.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah. I 100% agree with you on just kind of I think what I think of it is you spoke earlier about the diversity of it, like having so many different types of stories and types of creators that you can kind of get a different view. But still, what is successful seems, at least in crowdfunding, to shift in a certain direction.
Right.
And it's not an aspect of jealousy or anger or anything at those people who are successful doing that. I think for me, it's just a longing to see different types of stories for all ages of readers, of not segmenting it into one readership that is a certain demographic and age range. It's like, I want comics to be accessible to everyone. I want somebody, no matter, where you come from, to feel like you can see yourself in these comics and heroes that you can look up to. And so getting back to kind of like, I don't want to call like an old school, but I just remember just like as a kid, just finding comics that I didn't know existed. And they were all different, whether it was Bone to Spawn, or just, Spider-Man to Starman. I love James Robinson Starman. But there was just so many different types of stories from different creators. And so trying to encourage people who have unique voices, right, to... I don't know, support them, to encourage them to, having more kind of just, I guess, diversity of options is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I see that there, and I want all those to find this success,
Yeah, for sure.
With
so you're kind of getting at like a make comics great again, right? Is that what you're going for?
We are not publishing this one.
That one's going in.
That one.
It's called a joke, everybody.
No.
But I mean, there is a sense of it where where there are some aspects of the golden era, or like all these things that it just felt like I love the idea of my dad would constantly talk to me about like going down, buying a comic for a quarter,
Sure.
and like and I remember having or seeing conversations with other creators online where it's like, well, that's just dead,
Yeah.
like that's old and gone, which is fair and
Yeah.
true, but I do miss the concept of like childhood wonder about comics.
Yeah.
And that's why I think so far, a lot of my stories that I'm trying to tell, artificial necessarily isn't for like young children,
Sure.
but it's not, it could be, it could be maybe like 8 and up, maybe. But then like I'm writing Refuge, which is an all ages.
Yeah.
John's writing a book coming up, which is all ages. I think we're trying like almost like inadvertently to just allow more people to enjoy a comic.
Yeah, you don't want barriers, right? And that goes back to your cult of personality. And I feel like I should make a public statement about this.
Okay.
About the person you mentioned. I won't mention them, but I think with the cult of personality aspects you brought up, it gets into aspects of, is that personality a barrier for people enjoying their comics?
True.
Right. And no matter who they are. And I think, if what you're doing is separate from the comics itself, it is putting barriers, is making people not want to read that because they don't feel like they're included, right?
Yeah.
Or they're welcome in that space. And so that's why I feel it's just like so important to kind of give that message where it's like, I want the comics to speak for themselves. I want the comics to be something that, readers can relate to. And so, the cult of personality, I think that is something, right?
Yeah,
we see, and there are advantages, and there's, like you mentioned, disadvantages of creating kind of barriers where people don't feel maybe those comics are for them, right? And in many ways,
but, which we've talked about before. Where I mean, there's an audience for everything. Like that's another thing where I can't hate on things for the most part, and I've mentioned this in an earlier video too. Like I typically don't hate things. Like I just like everything for the most part. Like if it's good quality and I can tell there's a lot of heart and energy and effort put into it, I'm going to enjoy it typically. And the gambit of that is pretty wide. It's movies, TV shows, music, comics. To the point where people say I have trash taste in movies, but it's just because it's like, The Village wasn't that bad. So
that's a rough one.
I thought it wasn't that bad. I thought it was so interesting. Oh, they're in like a little. Anyway, M. Night Shyamalan's pretty cool. But it's only because he swings for the fences, makes these weird oddball movies that are kind of dumb. It's like, come on, guys. But even then, at the end, I'm like, all right, fine, all right.
We can agree that The Happening was not good, correct?
That was bad.
Okay.
that was kind of a terrible
film.
Bad. And I understand that if I had said it was good, everything went out the window.
It's like, how is this the same director? Like, what happened?
It's because he swings for the fences, man. I mean, to be fair, that scene where all the construction workers were just they were just committing suicide off the side of the the rafters. It was like a wild scene, and I was like, oh crap, this is rough. In a good way. I was like, all right, I'm down. Yeah. And then it was just terrible. And then it just went downhill. But yeah, so I just like things. I've said this before. I feel like there's so much energy now put into negativity.
Sure.
So I'll kick off the negative side of indie comic. Like, what were you going to say?
Well, no, I was just going to say, you brought up the negativity, and I think that's such a barrier, right? Yeah. When you become with like the person you mentioned, who's nameless, it's like Voldemort at this point. But it's not just them, and it's lots of things. I think when people project negativity, it prevents people from wanting to get into something that's very positive, and something that's very uniting, which is the power of storytelling and the medium comics. And I think that's what we unite on, is that we believe that comics can really unite people. These stories can really bring people together, regardless of where you kind of come from and different views or political beliefs or faiths or whatever. Like, the power of story is real, and we try to kind of focus on the beauty of that, Yeah,
for sure. I mean, that's a huge part of why we're doing what we're doing is for that. But I mean, there's this huge section, and I mean, this is no secret. There's this huge section of the indie comic scene right now that's just drama. It's only drama. It's only this group against that group. It's groups in general. Just stop. It's
comic tribalism.
Just don't even be a group. I mean, come on. It's just if you have the group in your name, get out of here. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It bugs me. So like, there's no reason for negativity. There's no reason to hate anything, to be honest, unless, once again, and it's not even really hate. It's just, it's commentary and being truthful, just like kind of saying the way it is. Mm-hmm. I do feel like a lot of people don't really like the term objective truth, but it definitely doesn't apply to everything. But there are some things where it's like, this is low quality. Mm-hmm. This isn't necessarily, I can tell it's low quality. Mm-hmm. And once again, you know, obviously not pointing fingers at anyone, but when you do see that out there, that's being received as like a negativity. And so like even that right there, I just want to be able to commentate on things, be able to even share ways to improve things. But it goes back to our last video of indie creators staying humble. That's also a big part of it. That big drama, just the drama scene, I do feel like really lacks humility in a lot of places, which would probably help it. But
the thinking you're kind of you spoke earlier, it's like it's awesome that like Kickstarters or like, you know, or crowdfunding, you can be so successful, but use that success to help others, right? For sure. And I think that's where we kind of unite a lot of like give back to people, you know, see people who are passionate of stories, but just need a little bit of encouragement, guidance. Like, don't use that to like dunk on people who aren't doing as well. Yeah. And, you know, we all have to resist that. We all have to kind of check ourselves and be humble of not like, yes, we're successful. Now it's my time to be like, I'm so much better, you know, because we're not, because we're all in this process of like getting better. And that's the thing, what you brought up with the negativity, man. I think we get lost in that and forget to see there are so many people in the indie comics community that are helping each other out.
For sure. Are
very much like
I'd love to shout out Matt Garvey. He's awesome. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I brought a hammer to hell and all those things, but he's awesome. I don't
know Matt that well.
I would reach out to him. Hey Matt, if you ever hear this, and I was kicking this around with John. One of my goals right now as a publisher is to get all your books under BentBox. Just as a heads up, I might court you one day. I love your books. And you're a great guy. You seem pretty cool. We've had a handful of conversations, or you know, a little back and forth, but like there are a ton that are. So the positivity's there, and it
does exist.
It does exist.
It's hard to see it sometimes online.
That's the thing. It's just the internet sucks, and it just sucks, and it's ruining humanity. But the problem is it is something we talked about earlier, is that the loudest voices are the loudest voices.
Sure.
And they're the ones you hear. So like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So like the fact that, and it's funny, so this is actually timely that you talked about this. But John, you know, my partner, John Shell, he has been posting nonstop about his books. World's Forgotten, coming out very soon. Blossom just released, which is an amazing book. He has so many. Wingless had an amazing reception, and he's working on issue 2, which is incredible. And so he's trying to promote, and I think he agrees with this, because I want to say we've talked about it, but he hasn't seen any kind of interaction or engagement with these posts about just unique art, a cool story. Here's a book.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen much engagement on that. Today, he posts, and this is dating us a little bit. Today,
know what you're saying, yeah.
Today, he posted a story about being shafted from an artist, like $500 worth of a cover that he just never did.
Yes.
Or never delivered.
Yes.
A lot of engagement on that.
No,
one.
I know.
And to be fair to all the people who did engage with it, it was mainly because he actually asked for it, because he was like, what should I do in this situation? Which was valid. But he texted me like right after it got tweeted, and he goes, a lot of engagement on that one.
I noticed that too.
And it is a thing though, where the algorithm and the internet really likes that.
I think that's like a theme that we've landed on, you and I, that very much like we kind of both believe very strongly of this kind of negative posting in the comics community,
rage baiting and stuff like that.
Do not like. It's different if you're actually like calling out like systemic issues with like publishers, and I've seen people
100%.
not getting paid and stuff. Like I totally support, like speaking to powerful people that are kind of taking advantage of artists and stuff like that. Or I see people speak out against AI and totally love that. That's different than actual like human beings and people, on getting into that kind of like echo chamber aspect of like, I'm going to not like this person or group of people. And I'm not, how am I trying to say this? I guess maybe a good question, Chris, would be like, when is the line to speak negatively and call out maybe certain groups in the comic? We might have to edit this part, but
no, that's
okay.
a good question.
So let's just be honest.
We
here.
edit nothing.
So I try to resist. You mentioned Eric July, but since we're in the conversation,
you said his name
and can do this, but like Comicsgate,
I'll tag him in the post.
So make sure this part goes to YouTube, so people don't know where I'm at.
Great.
But yeah, I firmly and don't like that movement at all, and stand against it. Not because of the comics really that they're making, because from what I've seen, they're just kind of like 90s nostalgia trips.
Yeah.
But it's just the negativity against other creators and other things of just like, not that they just dislike the thing. It gets into the aspect of like, it's a campaign against like this. And I think you and I unite. It's like, okay, but they're just making comics. If you don't like the comics they're doing,
don't read them.
Or if you don't like them, you don't have to, nobody's forcing you to post your negativity. And so I think that, that's the thing I'd love to see in 2025, just more kind of people not engaging with that stuff as much. And it's not just Comicsgate. It's anybody can get into the negativity thing, just not really giving fuel to that of like, as a community, we got to do better of like, hey, I want to comment, I want to like that, but maybe like the energy here is just really like they're, attacking other people.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what comics mean to me.
No. It's just
no matter who's doing it, where they're from or whatever, it's like, we all got to kind of commit to like keeping it a positive space where people, you know what I'm saying? No matter who they are.
It's better for the growth of the industry. So like,
absolutely.
Now that said, some people have built an empire. No idea who I could be referencing, but some people have built an empire on it. So it's not like it's not profitable. And when I say the idea of like grow the industry, it's like, well, they grew part of an industry technically, based on that, which is not my favorite thing. I don't know how else to put that, other than the idea of what we're talking about is like, I just really wish we could get to a point where we're just chill. You know what I mean? Just like, we're making comics, you're making comics, no one hates each other. This little pie in the sky dream I have over here.
I just don't get, like, so speaking back to that point is the controversy aspect. And I've been told this by other creators as well, that, and we've talked about it, like, wow, it seems like the people who are more controversial tend to get more traction. 100%. And then that converts into comics. And we've talked about this and we're like, nah. Like this,
I'm just not interested.
This is not our heart to kind of stir controversy to.
Here's the other thing, like,
do that.
My struggle with that is I just can't and don't care to. Yeah. So like, I wouldn't even know where to begin to start rage baiting and doing things like that online to build an audience. It's just, I just don't get it.
It feels inauthentic.
It's inauthentic to me. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm not going to be doing it. And if that means my audience doesn't grow on Twitter, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah. I'll find them elsewhere. That's kind of my goal. More boots on the ground stuff, like the cons we've been hitting up. We tend to get really good connections with people because you're having a face-to-face human connection.
The personal connection.
And that's where we're growing more. And I'm just enjoying that more. Yeah. So like, and not a call out by any means, but like Tyler on Twitter, a lot of you know who I'm talking about, but I like him to a certain extent. He kind of takes some hard.
Oh, I know this person.
He takes some hard stances, which
trouble.
Well, I don't. It's fine. I've tried to comment to him, and he never comments back, which is fine. I don't really care. But he takes hard stances that aren't necessarily even super controversial.
Yeah.
But they're enough to basically ruffle feathers of people that just cave into that. You know what I mean? Like they see, like a shark that sees a drop of blood. It's nothing basically.
It's bait.
But it's bait.
It's bait.
Now, like most of his opinions, I 100% agree with. Like, there's a lot that he says, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I don't know enough. Really.
Well, it's stuff about like marketing, getting yourself out there,
Sure.
making sure that your audience understands your product, make sure you understand your product, and how to just grow your business.
Sure.
So it's actually very helpful. So this is by no means like a call out to Tyler, but it's just one of those things where a lot of his posts will drive conversation, which is good because it builds his audience up. So there is definitely like maybe this fine line that he's walking that, because he has haters, he has a bunch of loyal fans.
Yeah.
So, he's doing something. But that said, it does feel very inauthentic to me to do anything like that.
Sure.
So I just don't. I just write and then, hang out with friends on a podcast and then play Marvel Rivals after. That's what we do. I'm just not interested. So
I don't think you find joy in that,
No, I
think
it.
you find joy in connecting to people. I think you want people to feel welcome, right? Yeah. You want people to know like that, hey, like we want you to love our comics. We don't want you to feel like not welcome to check out BentBox because of X, Y, or Z or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about Tyler, but I do have somebody I know who made similar comics to them and did fantastically well. Caden is their name, and amazing Kickstarter without controversy.
Yeah,
because the work spoke for itself.
Great,
and they're just a positive individual, very supported true believer. And first Kickstarter, and their goal was like 1,000, and they wound up doing like close to $60,000 on their first Kickstarter.
That's great.
And it's because there was just joy and there was love. And so I think it's just like, how do we cultivate that sense of joy of just like loving comics again? Like, it's just so exciting to, I didn't know this person existed. I didn't know this existed. And that goes back to the beginning of our conversation of just like, I think Indie Comics presents that you can discover some really awesome stuff. It's out there.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to maybe look for it or maybe steer away from some of the negativity to really just find that people are kind of creating with joy and the love of the craft,
Yeah, unless you like negativity, in which case you got plenty of places to go.
Yes.
A plethora. But if you don't like negativity, come hang out with us.
Yes.
At BentBox Comics, where we have chill comics that'll make you cry, like True Believer.
Is crying chill?
I'm pretty chill when I cry. Dude, I cry about everything.
It's cathartic.
I cry about everything.
Afterwards.
I like it. It's fun. It's a good time. Make you chill, make you cry, make you laugh. Get that pulse pumping. We got a bunch of really cool stuff,
yes.
But all drama free. At least that's the goal.
Yes.
So I see 2025 as being a huge year for indies. I'm very excited about some of the IPs that are getting picked up by like huge networks or, like Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff like that. I'm praying that they start tapping into the immense talent in the indie community,
Agreed.
Especially with the unfortunate decline in quality, I guess. There's some stuff that's still good, but in the big two and the more mainstream comics,
sure,
we're just seeing so much more love put into these personal stories that indies are putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hoping that they get the recognition that they deserve.
Absolutely,
and that it helps kind of a rising tide raises all boats, and I just pray that we all kind of enjoy that on a yacht together. making comics with that really high rise, Anyway,
is this the closing?
Why not? I think we talked about it. Unless you want to say something that pissed somebody off, you want to get into negativity?
I was just gonna say, like, trying to focus on the positive. It's like when you do find a creator that you like really just support them. You
Yeah,
know, really
100%.
just like shout them out, share the love. I think that means so much to us as creators. To know somebody really values and appreciates our work, you know,
Yeah.
to have like fans and stuff like that. And
It's
so
a huge thing.
that's how you're going to get more of those positive people having that focus, is when you really resonate with their comics because of their comics and they're just a positive person, right? We've got to like go all in on that so that other people can discover them, you know, and kind of make that more of the norm, you know, just people who are passionate about comics. Let's push them to the front.
Yeah, I mean the norm is going to be where the money goes, and right now the money's going in a specific direction.
It is.
So, you know, depending on what the market wants, that just is what it is. But yeah, if you just want good comics and you want to see, you know, quality products put out there by people who are passionate about it, then you need to find those people and support them.
Mm-hmm.
That's as a consumer. Obviously, creators do that as well, but we try and do that all the time. And I don't have any money left after Artificial 2 to support a ton more. So other than that, you out there, our listeners or fans, you're the reason we do what we do, and you're the only way we can keep doing what we do.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Keep it up, please. Thank you. But that's pretty much it. That's another episode in the books. Probably the last video you'll see of Jeff for a little bit until we can get him back down here. He's not that far away. But comment below. Bring Jeff back.
Only positive comments.
Yeah, only positive comments. No rage baiting in the comments.
Or positive critiques.
Yeah.
You could do a critique in a positive way.
Make sure you have to sandwich it, right?
Exactly.
You have the positive, negative, positive. And as long as you make that critique sandwich, we're all set.
Amen.
We're good.
Yeah.
That's how I learned from my wife. That's how you handle it. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'm tired.
Good night.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Another one.
Did the cut happen?
It happened right now.
It's a cool shirt. I think now knowing what we know, definitely going like a double XL. We'll give you a little more room.
All my other shirts I've gotten from them have been XL. And they all fit like this. So
but that one...
It must have been a weird...
It fits like a large.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and then I bought John a large of that. So.
Dude, you got a True Believer shirt too?
Yeah, I thought I got one for all of us.
Bro, that means you're a true believer.
Yeah, bro.
They're going to be like, why are they? Are they twins? Or what are they?
No, we're repping.